Good evening traders and welcome to Horde Trader UK. As you can see the time here that we've gone into a new trading month. The date is Wednesday the 1st of September 2021 and the time is 17 minutes past 12 AM UK time. Traders, I want to welcome you back to the channel. Hope you're going to enjoy this, the culmination of what's been an amazing trade, traders. I'm really excited to show you the final part of this video series here, which I'm going to start putting on YouTube very shortly to show you just how excellent this system is that I'm using. And also what I want to emphasize here is the importance of using fundamental analysis in together with sentiment analysis in together with your trading. Guys, hopefully you will see when I show you what's happened in this trade how important and how critical it is for you to make it as a trader to be able to fuse the two. Now, don't get me wrong, guys. There are plenty of people making a living, a fantastic living as just technical traders, okay? But I think if you go out into the markets today and you see the professional traders, the majority of those people are going to be at least have some element of fundamentals in their trading. So I'm going to try and keep this short. There's a lot to get through here, guys. There's a lot to get through. But what I want to say to you is this is a humongous trade. It's a quality trade in every sense of the word, and I'm really proud of this trade. So I just want to break it down for you. Some of the stuff I'm going to recap because I initially entered this trade, or I initially told you about this trade, well, I didn't tell you this trade, but I initially had this trade idea on the 11th of May, guys. And here I am on the 1st of September, 570 odd pips later to the good, happy. So let's get into it. Let's get into it, traders. So we're here on the Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar. And if I have to give you some what's the word I'm looking for? I have to give you some, put this into perspective. Perspective is the word I'm looking for. I have to put this into perspective. I have said all year that I'm bullish the Australian dollar, okay? I have said that all year, and I still am. On the long term, I'm still bullish the Australian dollar, okay? And on the 11th of May, if you recall, if you go back to the beginning of this video series, okay? Here we are on the daily chart of the Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar, the daily chart. And back on the 11th of May, I explained to you what I was seeing here, and that I was seeing some repeating patterns playing out on the daily chart. There's one of them, okay? Here's the other one. These are the patterns that I could see back on the 11th of May that I was interested in. And as I bring the chart across here, okay, we had this pattern here. We had this pattern here, and what had happened was where were we? We were somewhere like here. Okay, so if I just fatten that up, as you can see, so what I was bringing to your attention was these M-shaped patterns that had been forming on the daily chart, guys. And it's only a trained eye that's going to see those. You know, to anybody else, that's just going to look like a sideways market, and it is a sideways market, traders. But you have to be able to make profits in sideways markets, because most of the time markets are going sideways or correcting. And this sideways market here, if I can just minimize this chart a bit more, let me just think about this. Let me go up the time frame. This sideways correction here is nothing but a big correction of this down move. Okay, so that's what's really important, guys. I want to try and start to show you how to make money in any kind of market. So I spotted that I believe that this section of the chart was in a position where I felt it may go to the downside. And as you can already see, we've just we've crushed this market. So let me start clearing this trade up, this chart up, and let me show you exactly what has happened. I'm so excited to tell you about this. Now, guys, I hope I don't miss stuff because it's been a long time since I initially went into this trade. It's been a long time since I initially told you about this trade. So I'm going to try and remember everything that I said. But if I don't, please excuse me. It's just I've forgotten or it's just been too long. So remember, okay, let me just fatten this up now because this is where it really started to get interesting. Now, I want to bring your attention to these different coloured lines. This red line up here is where my stop loss was. This orange line is where I entered the trade. This dotted line here is where I took some profits. And then this green line is where my second target was. Okay, so let me just go through it. So 11th of May. Okay, what I said was, okay, if you can see this arrow here, I entered short in this bar, guys. I entered short in this bar, and that was what? That was the 12th of May. The day after I shot the video, telling you that I was interested in this trade. Okay, then price pushed down. And at this dotted line here, I took off some profits. And in fact, on half of the position, I took off 133 pips. Phenomenal. Okay, more than happy with that. So that's banked. But all the time, guys, my stop loss in red here stayed exactly where it was. Now, remember, I'm bearish the sentiment. I'm bearish the Australian dollar sentiment, bullish the New Zealand dollar sentiment. Now, that's why I've sold this pair. So what happened next? Well, okay, I'm happy with my profit. Okay, and what then happens was price pushes all the way back against me. All that 133 pips, price pushes all the way back against me. But did I panic? No, I didn't. Did I move my stop? Did I change my system? No, I didn't, guys. All I did was I readdressed the fundamentals. I looked at the sentiment and realized that not an awful lot had changed. And that gave me the confidence to think to stay short. But what really did catch my attention, if I just go down the time frame, was the pattern that was playing out as we were still negatively bearish on this pair, the pattern that was playing out as I was bearish. Now that gave me the confidence to consider putting on another position. And that's exactly what I did right here at 107.953. You've just got to go back and watch the videos, guys, and it's all there. This is just a recap. Now let me fatten this up. Now, as you can see here, here's my initial entry, took some profit. At this point here, well, in fact, at this point, I still had half of the original position in play. I'd taken 50% off of the original position and still had the other half in play, but it was just slightly in a negative figure now. Did that faze me? Not at all. Why did that not faze me? Because I've got a system, traders, and systematic trading is so important. So what I did, I reassessed the market and I saw the pattern and I added a position right here. I added a position right here, traders, and look at what happened. Bam, straight on down. Now, where are we? Okay, now, this bar here, phenomenal, okay? Price pushed through my target. The target was at the same place. The target for the second half of the position. So let me just recap. So what now? So at this point here, where am I? I have half a position from here, still in play, and I now have a full position at 107.953. And this marker is there just because with TradingView, you can't add two separate positions, not yet anyway. I have spoken to TradingView about it and they are looking at that, or said they would consider that anyway. So price pushed down, 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 down. And when I got back to the charts, price had pushed through where I was meant to take off 50% of the second part, but it was in our favor, guys. And in fact, the second part of the position was now 167 pips we'd made on that second position. So I took off 50% of the second position. That was 167 pips, guys. So if I add the 133 pips that we made in this half to the 133 pips that we made, 67 pips we made in that half, that's 300 pips. You divide that by 2 halves, that's 150 pips. I want you to keep that in your mind. So what we're then left with at this point now is 2 half positions, which are entered round about the same area, give or take a few pips. And look at what's happened, traders, today. Remember, we're here on the 4-hourly chart. Just look at that. It's beautiful, beautiful trading. So on the final half of the two positions, okay, we've made 426 pips on both of those halves of the positions. It's phenomenal. Okay, and if you times that by 2, it's 852 pips, guys. Okay, we've made 852 pips. So you divide that by 2, and you're left with 426 pips. Phenomenal. 426 pips times 2. Unbelievable. And obviously you have to divide that by 2, leaves you with 426 pips. So if I add the 150 pips and the 426 pips, divide those by 2, we are left with 576 pips in total. And guys, I want you to go back and look over the videos. I want you to look at what's going through my mind. I want you to check this out, because I'm sure that once people start seeing these videos, I'm going to get more texts and emails than I'm calling. This is not made up. You cannot make this sort of trading up, okay? And you can do it, because I'm just another trader who's making money in the markets every week, every day, every month. Do I have losing trades? Absolutely. Absolutely. Are my losing trades ever bigger than my losses? Never. Never, traders. My risk reward is spot on. And here, I can't even remember what this was. It was something like a 6 point something to 1 risk reward. That's just, you don't need too many of those to make your year a profitable year. And I've already showed you the Australian dollar CAD, where we're up. Okay, we've had a couple of losses in that trade, and we're now looking to change position. Now, let me just go back up to the daily chart. And remember, we had all these M's, didn't we? I just want to bring your attention to what happened after the end of each M. Here's the end of one M. Where's that other M? Yeah. Here's the end of another M. Have I got that right? I've got that totally wrong. Sorry, I apologise. Here's the first M. Here's the end of the first M. Okay, that's what happened there. Where are we? Bam, 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 bam. Here's the... Right, so sorry, I apologise, I'm struggling to see. Here's the end of the second M. Price went up. And here, is this the end of the third M? Could this be, could price repeat itself here? Guys, there's absolutely no reason why it shouldn't. Because if you can see what's played out in the first 3 M's, why on earth should it not play out in the fourth? In the first 2 M's, why should it not play out in the third? Now, again, I'm not just going to jump into the long side of this market, but I'm going to be looking, traders. And what am I going to be looking at? Well, what I'm going to be looking at, if I fatten my chart up, is I'm going to be looking at the pattern. I'm going to be looking at the patterns within these legs. And actually, as I sit here and look at this, I can already see a pattern. I can already see a pattern, traders. So it could be time to go long. That long-term long position that I'm talking about, this could be it. This just could be it. So I'm going to be watching this. I'm going to keep an eye on the fundamentals and the sentiment now, and I'm going to see if there's any kind of a shift. And guys, we could be in this trade to the long side. So I've been on 14 minutes. It's much longer than I expected to be. But traders, come across, subscribe to this channel, get this channel growing, because you can see what we're doing here, and tell me if you can't benefit from this. So traders, thanks for sitting in with me. I really appreciate the love that I'm getting on YouTube from the few subscribers that I've got. Really appreciate that. Thanks for the messages, guys. Keep them coming, and I'll catch you very soon. Take care, traders. Good evening, traders, and welcome back to HawTrader UK. It's currently Wednesday, the 1st of September 2021, and the time is just about to turn 8 minutes to 12 p.m. here in the UK. Guys, just want to remind you, come across, subscribe to this channel, help this channel to grow, and that way we can get this content out there to more traders who just may need or just may like this methodology of trading that I use. Now, guys, it's going to be short, sharp, sweet description here tonight. So, straight across into the charts. Traders, you've been watching my video series of this pair, the Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar, okay? And I've been saying since the beginning of this year that I'm long-term bullish the Australian dollar, okay? Now, what that doesn't mean, guys, is because you are long-term bullish that you can't take trades in a bearish direction based on the sentiment. And I've already showed you the power of doing that with a 576 pip win, okay, which finished just yesterday, guys, as I showed you earlier on in this video, or the video just before this, okay, which is just phenomenal trading, and there for you all to see. But guys, we don't stop there, do we? Because remember, long term, I'm bullish the Australian dollar, and what I've been saying to you with this pair, the Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar, is I've been looking for three patterns, okay, three patterns which I believe have now completed. Okay, so I believe these M's that I showed you, and I'm not going to draw them out again. All right, these M's that I showed you, I believe the final one's completed. And what we could be looking at here, if I just go up to the higher time frame, let's try the 2 weekly. Okay, let's try the 2 weekly, and let's just hide the drawings for a moment. So, if you look at all of this sideways action here, here's the first M just in here, okay? There's the second M, and there's the third M, which we've just traded down to the short side. Now, after the end of each M, you've had an increase in price. Here's the end of the first M, just here, price increased, okay? We then came down, okay, here's the second M, price increased, although it did dip there. Now, because I'm bullish, I believe this whole sequence here is the pattern that I've been waiting for prices to go to the long side. Now, remember that I mix fundamentals and technicals in my trading. Let's just get the drawings back in here now. This yellow line for me marks a significant level, and as you saw yesterday, price came into this level, took us out, finished our second target, and banked us 576 pips. Okay, now while I've been looking at this this last sort of M, okay, what I've not been focused on is the significance of this level here being taken out. Let's just show you this level, this lip right in here, okay? Because what I believe is, in this whole pattern here, this lip is significant. And the fact that I placed a level beneath it months ago, back in May, is uncanny really, because I hadn't really considered this lip. But now that I've studied this pair a bit more, obviously this lip being taken out is important to me, because that is the signal in this particular pattern for price to potentially move to the upside. And I've also showed you yesterday why I think prices could move to the upside. Now, what I also said yesterday was there's a pattern in this final leg down into that that final profit target there. There's a pattern there which I like, and I believe this bar here, which has reversed all of yesterday's profits, is my signal to get long. That, coupled with a bit of bullish sentiment that I'm now starting to see in the Australian dollar. It's minute, guys, but it is there. But what you have to consider, and I'm not going to go into what that sentiment is, because that's a whole nother lesson. That's a whole nother skill set that needs to be taught over a period of time. But what I do realise is that now that price has gone into this level, the sentiment starts to change. And it's that talk of sentiment that price then starts to move, that can then start to move markets. So let me just go up to the weekly chart. Now, look at that bar, guys. Now, I'm not saying that that bar is going to finish like that, but as it stands, that's a great bar, isn't it? Look at the 2 weekly chart. Amazing pin bar if price stays like that. Okay, down to the daily chart, and then we've got this row, what they call, I don't even know what they call this, but it's a full reversal of that bar. So based on that, guys, I'm going to set a limit order in this market because I believe this could be a bottom in this pair, and I'm going to take my first shot at potentially going long. Now, I'm not going to go in at the market. What I'm going to do is I'm going to play, let me just get to the monthly chart, sorry, the weekly chart. I'm going to play this pin bar, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my fib retracement. I'm going to go to the bottom of the bar, and I'm going to go take it to the top of the bar. Okay, so what I've effectively done here is I've taken a fib retracement of this pin bar, which hasn't yet closed. If I then go down to, let's say, my 4-hour chart, there is a 618 fib retracement, which is where I'm going to place my limit order. Now, what does that do? What does that help me to do? Well, let me just remove these again. What that helps me to do is it helps me to get a better risk reward if price comes back down, okay? Because at the minute, if I was to go long in this pair from where we are, I would be risking, let me just put it to one side. I would be risking how much? Let me just have a look at how much I would be risking. I'd be risking like nearly 90 pips. I don't want to risk 90 pips in this trade. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to put my limit order right there, right above the 61.8 fib retracement. Okay. Now, let's place this order. Let's get some alerts set, and let's see what we can do here. So let me get my long tool. Here it is, and just front run it slightly above so we don't miss getting taken out. All right, now let's build this trade and let's see what we can do here. Now I'm going to pull this down a little. There is the lows. There are the lows right there of this bar. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to pull this down so we're below the lows. 60 pips is where I'm going. Okay, so we're clear of those lows. Up the time frame. Now, let me just auto this. Now, where could this trade potentially go? Well, guys, I'm bullish the Australian dollar. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this all the way up here. All right. But the reality is, if I go higher up the time frame, remember, I believe that this pattern here is coming to an end, and price could, guys, there's no two ways about it, price could go up there, but I'm going to stick with this. Okay, I'm going to stick with this where I am, and I'm going to go into the highs up here to see if we can't get another, let's see if we can get another big trade out of this, guys. So we're set. We have a 5-to-1 risk reward, 60 pips worth of risk, potentially 520 pips worth of profit, 8.62 risk reward on this trade. So let's set it up in front of you here. What do I want to do? I want to create a limit order. That's perfect. Okay, what do I want to do? I want to buy on a limit. That's perfect. In fact, everything here is setting out just wonderful, because in my risk here, it's only risking 0.73% of my account, which I'm more than happy with, guys. I'm more than happy with. So let's set that up. All right, so there you go, guys. We are now we now have a limit order set in this market, don't we? Let's just wait for those to disappear. So we now have a limit order set in this market. Let's close this up. Okay, let's just hide this for a second, and there you can see what we're waiting for. We're waiting for price to come back down in. Hopefully it won't go below this level here and take me out, but it's possible, guys, it's possible. But I believe in the pattern that I'm seeing in this final leg. I really think we could have just come to the end of it. So let's see what happens, guys. Now we're not triggered yet, but I will let you know if we do get triggered. The fundamentals are just, the sentiment is just starting to change. So let's see what happens. So guys, I've been here 10 minutes. Thanks for sitting in with me. Again, this is this synergistic trading approach, which you have to adopt if you're going to be a trader. You've got to always be looking for opportunities, but those opportunities have to fall within your rules. Thanks again, traders, and I'll catch you all very, very soon. Don't forget to come across and subscribe, leave comments, and press the bell icon to get more of this content. Take care, traders.